Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Duke with the Treble with Music, and today I have something that's very large. It will not fit in my cart that I usually bring to my classes. So since we're having classes at home, I wanted to show you something that I have at my house. It is a drum set. This drum set was my dad's. He was a professional drummer, and this one has quite a few pieces to it, but it's not a large set. It's not a small set. I've seen bigger and smaller. I don't have as many cymbals, at least set up, that some people do. So I'm going to show you what I have, and I'm going to show you how different sounds can be made with the drums. Just a little background. When I was little, my dad would go on gigs, as they were called, or jobs, every few nights or so during the week. And I didn't really get to play or see his drums very often, except when he would take them out to clean them. I do remember he would set them up and play them and let us play on them. And, you know, what child doesn't like to bang on some drums? And so then when we would go car shopping, though, we would load up the drums in our car in the trunk, and if the new car could accommodate all of my dad's set in the trunk, that was our new car. So kind of a funny memory. Then when I was a teenager, my dad retired from playing professionally, and he set his drums up in our den, and I could hardly wait to get my hands on those drumsticks and see what I could do with the drums. So they are a lot of fun to play. So today I'm going to show you the different parts and just some things that you might not know. So if you think that banging on drums is what you do, no, there's a lot more to it. So let's get started. So if you are prone to motion sickness, I apologize. So just stay with me. I'm going to try not to drop the camera, but I'm going to be moving it around a lot. So we're going to start with the snare drum. The snare drum is kind of that drum that you see. Let's see if I can make sure you see it. The snare drum is the drum that you see right in front of the drummer. And the reason it's called the snare drum is because underneath there are snares that are strapped onto the drum, and they can actually be loosened so that the drum will not vibrate the snares. So that would be without the snares. And then when I engage the snares, they rattle. Sympathetic vibrations. They rattle with the drum. So that's why the snare drum is called a snare drum, because it actually has snares on the bottom. Then we have a pair of drums, and they look like twins, but they actually have two different sounds. So let me get my stick. So this is called, these are called tom-toms. They're mounted tom-toms. And they make two different sounds. So this is a higher one. This is a little bit lower. Now, the reason they make two different sounds, or the way they make two different sounds, is because this one's head is tightened a little bit tighter than this one. So, and they're tightened, all of these drums actually can be tightened with a special lug nut. Let's see if I can, let's see. I can get you to where you can see one. Here's one right here. So all of these drum rims have these, it's like a bolt, and they tighten the head onto the drum. So Mr. Tom Tom number 1 is a little bit tighter than Tom Tom number 2. And then we have a floor tom. So the floor tom actually sits on the floor. I don't know if you can see all the way down to the floor. Anyway, take my word for it. He is sitting on the floor. That might be better, actually. And he, of course, is bigger and makes a lower sound. So that is our floor tom. There we go. Okay, so those are the I forgot one of the drums. This is the bass drum, and the bass drum is played by pushing a pedal down. Hope you can see that. So, let's see, I'm going to make sure you can see it. There. Okay, there is the bass drum. And then over here, while I'm down here, we have another pedal, and this is called the hi-hat. The hi-hat is actually a pair of cymbals that you play with your foot, and they clap together so you can make a rhythm or beat with that. Okay, and then to finish off the cymbals, I have a a crash cymbal, and I have a ride cymbal. The ride cymbal is a bigger cymbal. I'm going to try not to drop my camera. So this is, I'm putting my hand on it so you can see how wide it is. Reminds me of a big Chinese hat. And then the ride cymbal, I'm sorry, that was a ride cymbal. The crash cymbal is smaller, so you can see how my hand doesn't cover as much of it. So the smaller cymbal makes a little bit brighter sound. So we call that the crash cymbal because that would be like the common. And then this one is used more for incorporating into a beat. So this would be a cymbal that you would play along with the drums more, and then this one you would crash it. So now that you're totally seasick, I'm going to put this back down so you can see the whole thing again. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a common rock beat. So I'm going to be playing my right foot, then my left foot, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left. Then I can add my snare drum and my hi-hat, and I'm going to do the same hand pattern that I'm doing with my feet. So it's going to be right, right, left, right, right, left, right, 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 right. So if you wanted to practice that, if you ever get to sit at a drum set, then you would know a basic beat. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left. But you have to be able to do it with your hands crossed, because I don't know if you noticed, my left hand and my right hand were actually crossed over. So you would have to be able to do, let's see, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left. So you work on that. It's kind of hard to do without playing it on the drums. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is a Dixieland beat. Dixieland is kind of like a jazz beat. My dad did this probably more than any other beat. And it is... So that is a snazzy, jazzy little beat. And just so you'll know, when I went around the drum set, that is called a drum fill, because it fills in and kind of adds to the common beat that you hear throughout the song. Okay, now next I have, I'm going to show you this with my lap first. This is something that you can practice. In drums, we learn things called rudiments. And one of the most common rudiments is called a paradiddle, which is a funny name, but it actually helps you remember how to do it. So, you diddle. So the diddle is on the same hand. So instead of doing one hand and then the other, you go back and you do the diddle part on the same hand. So it's right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. And that is called a paradiddle, paradiddle. And if you do it faster, you can make it sound like something. This kind of reminds me of the theme from Shaft. So that's kind of snazzy too. Let's see. Next, I'm going to show you a march. So a march would be something very militant sounding. And actually that wasn't so good. I was thinking I was going to start out with a roll. So a roll is something that you can do on the snare drum, and you can let the stick kind of bounce around a little bit. So anyway, so marching orders in order here. I actually can do that a lot better, but for some reason I am not doing that so well right now. But we'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, I think I'm thinking about my next thing, which this is one of my favorite things too, and I'm going to give you something to do. This is a waltz. So a waltz is in 3/4 time, which means that we would do something that has a 3-beat pattern. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to whoever. Happy birthday to you. So you never knew happy birthday was actually a waltz. Okay, so I'm going to do this actually with a rim shot. So I'm going to take my stick and I'm going to turn it upside down. And I am going to do... So that would be a waltz feel. Let's see, next, while I'm doing my rim shot, this was something that my dad used to play a lot, and I would play it on the piano for him to play on the drums. It's called Brazil, and it is a kind of a Latin sound. So what I just did was I undid the snares, so now the snare drum doesn't sound like a snare drum. We want the rim shot, and we also use the floor tone, so it sounds like this. So that's kind of fun to play. And then my last one is going to be just a good old funky, rocky kind of a gangster beat. So, I think that's enough to kind of give you an idea. So now what I'm going to do, this is where you really get to move around. Go find an open spot wherever you happen to be, and this is going to be kind of like freeze dance. So I'm going to play one of the beats that you just heard, and you get to jump around, and then when I stop, you get to freeze, and then you get ready for the next one. So we'll do a few of those before we end this video. All right, I think I'm going to start with one of my favorite ones. Key to freeze. Okay, now remember that happy birthday? So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I will do a little Brazil. And let's see, next, oh, get your marching shoes on because you're going to do some marching. Let's see. Oh, we should start with this. There you go. Okay, now, let me see. Oh, yes, a little bit of shaft with those paradiddles. Okay, that one I need to work on too. My paradiddles are a little out of paradiddle, something or other. Okay, and, oh, this will be the grand finale. So, are you ready for this? Oops. Okay, here we go. So, that wasn't rap, but this is a rap. And I will see you in the next video.